Hey guys, tonight's Friday, and that means it's Nancy Matt's night. The topic tonight is going to be manifesting. Manifesting good fortune, manifesting good juju. So if you're interested in learning how to do that, come join us in 5 minutes. Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust, turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Happy weekend, good evening. It's Friday. It's Casual Friday here at California Haunts Radio. And that means it's Nancy Matz night, and we're going to be talking about good juju tonight. I think we could all use some good juju, right? I like to use good juju to win the lottery. That'll happen, right? See, with that negative attitude, bad, very bad. My name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next hour. Hang on. I kind of boosted my metagame too much here. Red light's flashing. Anyway, I'm going to be your host for the next hour. And I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team based out of lovely, cool now, Sacramento. We're 45 strong up and down the state. Let me push my buttons. There we go. Got my buttons pushed. See? Up and down the state, 45 people. That means that if you have a paranormal issue, we can certainly get to you and help you out with that. We don't charge for our services, so we're just out here to help and educate. That's what we do. We also have some branches out in Oregon, Washington, Nevada, and Hawaii. Now, I'll tell you what. The only way I charge is if you wanted me in Hawaii, you guys have to pay my airfare with all my equipment. Then I'll go to Hawaii. Then I'll stay for like 3 months. It's all good. But anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Friday, and we got a lot to talk about tonight. We always have a lot to talk about with Nancy. What I want to bring up is something I found. I don't know if you guys have found this, but Dollar Tree, at least I think it's the Super Dollar Store, is where I got my hot dog buns, is spraying their plastic things that are in plastic bags with soap and water. And the reason why I know this is because when I bit into my hot dog bun, it tasted like soap. So the only way soap could have gotten in there is if they were literally spraying the bags. Because you got to remember, even though that thing's twisted, right, and it's got the little plastic thingy on there, water could still seep in there. But see, this isn't the first time this has happened. About 3 months ago, I got a loaf of bread. Went to bite into my sandwich. Same thing, tasted like soap. Ate it anyway, got rolling sick. So I think, I think this is all like, COVID prevention. But it's interesting, and I'd like to know from people, from you guys, the people that are going to the dollar store, if it's happened to you where you've noticed that you've bitten into bread or something like that from the dollar store and noticed it tastes like soap. Because this is the second time it's happened, so I'm pretty sure that's what's going on, is to clean those things up for us, so we pick them up at the store and put them in our cart or our basket or whatever. They're spraying them with soapy water to disinfect them. And I mean, the thought's nice. It's just that we're probably at such an angle on not all of them, but that's probably at such an angle that it's able to seep into there. So it's kind of interesting. So I'm not gonna like yell at dollar store and go, no, don't do that, and don't get it as I'm spreading disinformation either, because this has happened twice. This show is for entertainment purposes, right? We're here to entertain, but when something like that comes up, the newspaper reporter in me comes out. Okay, so that's what I think is going on. It's nobody's fault. It just happens. But yeah, I went ahead and ate my hot dog buns too, so I haven't gotten sick yet, so that's a good sign. So maybe this time I won't get sick. But yeah, it's not like it's the first time. Okay, anyway, enough of that. If you're watching from Facebook and you like what you hear, please feel free to follow me. Follow me on Facebook. Because we're going to be doing a lot of things this year. We're going to be doing UFO hunts. We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff this year. Different things, I want to take you on live ghost hunts with me and my team. Once we start getting going again, you guys will get to go on live ghost hunts. Maybe do some psychic readings here and there, and get that kind of thing going. So I'm really looking forward to doing stuff. I was even thinking of doing like an online conference. Okay, so follow me on Facebook. You want to check this stuff out. Go over to meetup.com. It doesn't cost anything. Join our meetup, California Haunts Paranormal Team. Join us over there too on the meetup, because we like to announce things there. Website for the radio show, CaliforniaHauntsRadio.com. Also, CaliforniaHaunts.org is going to be powered up here. I've been sitting down with Karen Clark on our team, and we're completely doing a redesign on what my original website was for years. We're completely redoing things. We're even going to have a page called Psychic Corner. And what happens is that if you feel so inclined and you have a question that you would like answered, We will answer 1 or 2 questions a week on Psychic Corner. Okay? So you'll be able to do that. But don't go rushing over there because the website's not up yet. In fact, it's down right now. So if you want to get a hold of the paranormal team, check us out all over Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. You'll find us. Just Google California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team and we'll pop up. And get us on the radio show website. And I'll answer you back. I am us here. Facebook, everywhere. Also, if you're watching from YouTube, I almost forgot about YouTube. It's like the ugly shit. It's like the ugly stepchild. Look down in the right-hand corner, and instead of that ugly red subscribe button, you're going to see the little white ghosty. That ghost is our mascot. And so you click on that, and that'll take you to the little red subscribe button. Excuse me, I itch here. Okay. And that'll take you to the little red subscribe button. Okay? We have 450 videos over there, and they're all kinds of topics. Including, because I'm a journalist, so I don't like to cover the same things over and over and over and over. I like to, ghosts. I love ghosts. I love paranormal. I love all that stuff. But I also love, like, real news. I try to stay away from politics. Don't like it. Think it starts more fights than it's worth. But I will cover things like Monday's topic, which we'll get into at the end of the show. I do like to cover things like spousal abuse and child abuse and things like that. So there's things like that over there. Okay, things that like I always say, there's probably something over there that for everybody to like. Okay, so go check it out. You don't know until you check it out, right? It doesn't cost anything except your $60 a month to Comcast or whatever to peruse the web and check it out. Okay. Anyway, I will shut up now. I'm done. Off my soapbox. And we're going to get into this. Have you ever? Hello, Jen. We're probably going to get back into doing that, Jen. We're going to start getting back into doing that. We've just gotten into doing some other stuff and, rolling right along and blah, blah, blah. Oh, by the way, Sunday, for you guys that like the whole book reading thing, I got the book lined up for Sunday. And it's going to be all about witches and the Salem witch trials and all that. So we're going to be reading that book on Sunday. And what's going to happen with that book, depending how long it is, because we're going to go into the holidays. I have a special book lined up for the holidays, and I'm going to be reading about Christmas legends that aren't so cheery. Okay, Krampus will be one of them. So I'm going to be reading about that. Our good friend Sylvia Schultz, who's going to be on November 1st with us, wrote the book. And so it's got Krampus in there and different Christmas legends. So starting around Thanksgiving, we're going to shift gears, whether we're done with the witch trial book or not. We're going to shift gears into the Christmas stuff. And then after Christmas, if we have to go back to the witch trial book, we'll go back to the witch trial book and finish that off. And then we will continue with Anna Maria Manalo's new book, which is supposed to be really scary from the feedback I'm getting from my team. So yeah. So I'm figuring everybody likes witches, Jen, and that's why we're doing it. Okay, so I'm going to get Nancy on here before I make more of a fool of myself. And maybe she's experienced the soapy bread. I don't know. But I'm telling you, it's if it was a one-time thing, I wouldn't say anything. But it happened to me 3 months ago. It was a regular loaf of bread. Who knows? All right, here we go. No wonder why my dogs look at the bread and go, ugh,
Might want to, for you listening, no, I've not purchased a hot dog or buns or anything from the dollar store and had that experience. People I know clean with vinegar and water also. Why don't you go back to that store, everybody, and tell them instead of a detergent, maybe vinegar, because that won't make us ill. That'd be terrible.
No, I can't prove they're doing it, but still, when I get, who knows?
I don't like the idea.
Maybe it's the factory where they're shipping it from. I don't know. But I mean, when it's like the second time it's happened to me in 3 months, they're doing it's either the dollar store itself or it's wherever their distributor is that's doing it. So the hands that touch and blah blah blah.
I'm trying to.
Sometimes I'll give my dog a piece of bread, like if she's coughing or something, and the dog looks at me like, "What are you giving me this for?" And then now I know why, because it smells funny.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Ooh. How many times you put wash your hands and then you put your hand in your mouth and you haven't dried it well enough and go,
Yeah, well, that's what it
you,
tastes like. I bit into that tonight and went, wow, that
ooh,
tastes like
ooh,
soap. What is that?
yeah,
That whole thing.
that really
I said
wakes you up
something
too.
terrible. Mom stuck the soap in my mouth, right? I know
Well,
that taste. I got my mouth washed out
I was going
quite a
to
few
say,
times.
how many times did you get your mouth washed out, Shar?
Quite a few as a kid.
I bet.
I created
I was,
I created the swear jar.
yeah. All right, we got it. I do have, you made me think of some things. I wrote a couple of things down.
See, we're rolling.
Yeah. So while you're watching us, glance down to the row and see the word share and save. Next to save, there are three little buttons. Click on that and you'll click and you'll see the word transcript. If you do that, come back and listen to us again, then you can write down some of the ideas or listen to watch a whole show by reading it next time. But most people aren't aware that you can, that I don't think I've been able to copy and paste it, but you can read it if we mumble. And you want to know what we said. I try to speak clearly, but we all kind of talk too close or talk too far away.
How's it going to transcript? Blah, blah, blah,
Well,
I'm just kidding.
but you can see if there's possible way to transcribe it. Of course, punctuation isn't there, but that's okay. That's okay. And the young man that puts that together, I wrote it down while we were talking. Shar was talking, and I can remember his first name is Kevin.
Cool.
Kevin to Computer Tutorials. Type that in his site on YouTube will surely come up. And
Yeah,
he's a
okay.
wealth of information. He has 1.5 million subscribers. Quite.
Let's hear it for Kevin, the transcriber.
Yeah. You said something very curious, and I watch a lot of the videos. In fact, that's my mainstream. I like documentaries, history, travel. It's just amazing what I will. And I'm surprised at the number of people that always say entertainment purposes. I
Yes.
hope they think of that we're not the gospel, especially my topics where I talk about my absolute belief in my faith and that we do survive and there are the existence of spirits and ghosts and the stories I tell. I hate to add that entertainment, but I am a form of entertainment for those who you are seeking the truth. I've lived this all my life, and I've done this since May 4th, 1990. And I guess I live with a different sense of belief that most people do. I know we survive. I, every day I get proof, and how many of you have had readings from me where I've described all the family members around you in spirit. I can't make it up. I can't make it up. And cross cultures, people adopt other people, and then the family passes away, and I'm describing them authentically the correct way. No way for me to know something like that. I wanted to share that I am moving over and have moved over the shows that I have been with Shar onto my YouTube station, Nancy Matz Psychic. And the reason is sometimes you click on my name because you want to see my videos. Will you always be able to find Shar? And we get lost. Shar will get the credit if you do come to my and watch them all in a row from the first to the end. She will get the click credit. But if you want me in one location, then go to my YouTube station. And if you subscribe, I will be starting a new format with Sue Coop. Well, you have to read up. I will send it out. We will talk about later. Sue Coop is someone I've known for 25 years and married her to a wonderful young man who got hit by lightning early in life. And now at this time of our lives, we're having fun. And we will talk about everything paranormal. It's predictions, laughter, just how much fun can you have doing what we're going to be doing. So she's walked the same path I have, different but the same. And I'm also building a new website, nancymatz.com, nancymatz.net, same site. I actually started it 95, 96 when it was beginning. And I've been too busy to rebuild it. I built Nancy Matz Author. I want you to be patient with me. I've had a few notes. Nancy, your site, it's old. I said, yeah, there's 50 pages. It's going to take me a little bit, but I wanted to tell you that you've been there. I'm trying to modernize it. I'm taking things out so it's cleaner looking. You can't appreciate my building on this for 30 for since 95. So that's a 26, 27 years. I apologize. I'm not a wealthy woman. I can't get someone else to do it. It's just out of reach. So anyway, that is that. Just some notes, and thank you, Shar, for
Well,
bringing those
you know
to my
what?
attention.
That sounds familiar because I've been on my site almost 20 years, and we have at one time we had one of the, if not the biggest paranormal site in California in the States.
Yeah.
So I'm having to take all that and start a new site up. So that this is what's taking so long. And then it took me a while because, look, I'm going to put it this way: when Yahoo was hosting the sites, let's be perfectly honest, they were idiot proof.
You said that. I didn't. I don't want to.
So
No nasty notes, anybody.
HTML, you could do all that on them because they were idiot proof. Now, trying to find another idiot proof site, I'm not going to tell you who I'm going with, but it's been difficult for me to find a site that I really want to work with because there's different graphics and things that we were doing on the other site because, again, you couldn't screw it up because it was idiot proof. But now you have to do all these extra things to get this stuff done. So it's taken me a while to figure it out. So be patient with me. That's why if you want any paranormal help or anything like that, the best way is to either get me on Facebook or get me on the radio site because those are the two live sites right now. Until I get scheduled, it's going to be a while.
And the same with me. It's not so much idiot proof. It needs to be revamped a lot. Like every few days, every week, we have to get back in there. So we want it easy. And I am going to go, doesn't really matter. It's GoDaddy. And I already have Nancy Matz author. And then I thought, well, my having two different platforms, I just built another one over here, more modern. And I think we all like that. Getting in the throes of, so what I'm doing with Shar is some of the topics we're bringing up is actual client. And this is something else we're talking about is the client's experience, making me realize manifestation of our wants is really, really important. I'm going to start a third series for YouTube for Shar every Friday night, every other Tuesday with Sue. And then I'm going to create things that I've talked to clients about. I must have 10,000 radio recordings. You would be shocked. Cassettes that I've kept, and I will be sorting through them with audacity. And you'll hear the question. I'll give the month and a year. Privacy is very important. You'll hear the question, you'll hear my answer, and then I'll discuss it with you. I'm looking forward to this so much, everybody.
See, everybody. I go back and I'm starting to go through the Blog Talk stuff. Because Web was on air 10 years over at Blog Talk.
Yeah.
So
Same thing.
I realized how cool my guests were. These people that are like really
know it
right now. I had them all on back then. But I've got all those files, and I have to take each individual file, and categorize it to get it on this new and get it on the radio website. So it's been a job. Yeah, it's fun, but it's been a job, in between. And then TikTok came up, and then Facebook Reels came up, and then YouTube Reels came up. And then
I am sympathetic, but I'm surprised.
Right? Now I'm reading books. I'm reading people's books. Like this book, I got to interview this guy. I have to interview this guy tomorrow, at 9:00 in the morning, and I still have 125 pages to read of his book. And I just got 2 more books in the mail.
I know it.
So it's like, and I think Marisa said it right, because I did my backyard beautiful this year, like I always do. I've only been out there like 3 times in the evening, and she's the one that said it. She says it's like you need to buy a ticket to be in your backyard, to schedule it in. But
I can do that. I do want to say that the fights are on tonight, and even though the house is large, it's way over there. You're going to hear. I tried to close the door a little bit. We do have cats. So just before we started, there was a big fight with this teacher, and I was cheering. I walked in here because I wanted to set up, and of course, geez, wouldn't you mind my voice? I have Char's T-shirt on tonight. I don't know if you can see that.
Check it out. Yeah, Nancy's got a T-shirt. See that?
Yeah. And I have my Halloween cup. There you are.
Have that shirt.
Huh?
You still have that shirt.
I package them up, and I only bring them out on Halloween.
A couple of years over here too.
This shirt must be 25 years old.
It is, because you got it when we did that. When you spoke at that conference, I think is when you did it.
Which one?
We did.
I know. I know which one.
Sutter Creek.
Sutter Creek. Absolutely.
Yeah. when we
You
did that.
brought that up when the presentator passed away. You brought her up and was talking to me.
Yeah.
And
all
I
my
remember
friends.
that. I really take care of my clothes. They last forever.
I've got your books. I've got your shirt. I've got your sign.
Okay, kids, we need to start this. And
Nancy and I are interchangeable over the years. That's all.
it's amazing.
Okay, we need to
Some
get this show on the road, and this is good. Everybody needs good juju. I need good juju.
we
The
all
thing
need good.
is, guys, remember, negativity can suck into your world, and it sucks the good juju away if you're not careful. So Nancy's going to help us get around that and figure out how to beat that negativity, beat it to a pulp, so we can keep all that positive energy going.
Yes, and I have not. This is my own truth, and I could be wrong. But over the years, I have not read any manifestation webs, for years and years, because I think it's important that people put out their truth. Don't be tainted by what somebody else said. If I repeat what you've read somewhere else, it's because that's what I do. It validates them, absolutely. If I give you better or newer ideas that you work better or with you versus somewhere else, better. I try to be original all the time. This is what happened to my voice. So in some ways, it's a good thing. I do have notes, pages.
Go for it.
Of course.
Just always remember, you guys, when we're BSing in the front of a show like this, we will give you that extra 20 minutes of the show, no matter what, so that you get your full money's worth, as they say.
Well,
we
do enjoy this. We do have fun on the show.
That's why we got to BS a little bit.
And sometimes I've talked to a lot of people, and we'll be chatting, and then I'll say, "Okay, the session started. Let me turn the tape on," and they'll yell at me, going, "Oh, I wanted the chit chat on the tape because it was so fun." They listen to my voice, and we laugh. We talk about things and what they want to talk about, and I'll casually mention something. They go, "Oh, please repeat yourself," and I go, "Oh, okay." So sometimes chitter chat like this will bring an idea to you, listening, and maybe you need to do something like build a new website because yours is 25 years old.
Yeah.
And I admit to it. I know, and I'll get it. I don't know about a calendar because you'd be surprised how many people juggle the calendar. I need one more place to check. So I have a paper calendar on my desk. I write all over, and it looks like a battlefield.
You know what? I don't know if it's because we're old. I'm just saying, is that I have a calendar on my iPhone, but if I don't put it on a paper calendar, I forget.
Right?
It has to be written down. So I have an old style. Let me get this photo.
I got my black cat with me, everybody.
Yeah,
Halloween is here.
Old style calendar, just like that, man. Lovely calendar.
Well, I actually had an opportunity to use, I think it was a BlackBerry or something, a long time, and I lost it all. So in some ways, that got me back on a Rolodex. And everybody goes, "Oh, please. You know what? I'm that one person that has a disaster. And my computer now is dying. That's all I need, right? Is to have it die when I can't remember who it was on my appointment for the afternoon.
I'm not organized enough to have a Rolodex. I have to have it laid out in front of me.
Well, I have both. I have both. The thing is because people who work with clients, I do not want my computer to die or have a power outage.
Right.
An hour, 2 hours before the appointment. If you can't get to your calendar, it's done. And I've had that happen.
Well, we had this discussion kind of yesterday too with my internet situation.
Oh,
in that
right. A lot of people in your neighborhood
for a show, to have the internet die. Like this neighborhood way they suck up internet here. So I have to have two separate internet companies. So my internet on my phone is through AT&T, and then the main internet here is through Xfinity. So if Xfinity goes down, I can do the shows on my cell phone without any problem. So there's always a backup.
So this talk tonight actually comes from a couple different people, but the one I think would apply to is a gal who lives on the East Coast, and she's also a longtime client. Brilliant, beautiful. When I talked to her, if you knew her, the epitome of success, beauty, physical fitness, just somebody you gravitate toward. But The family dynamics. She left a job because both parents are ill and were dying. She had a brother that was ill and eventually died. So she left her job to pursue this. And she's now actively been trying to find a job for about a year and a half. And we were talking one day about it, and I was explaining to her my theory, and we'll talk about this on not manifesting so much, and that's a good word, but be in a place of creating the outcome of your desire. And we call it manifest, but I call it creating what you want and walking toward it. Of course, that is a manifestation, but I don't want manifestation to be a word that you conjure up magically. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a mindset, energy created action. And so I talked to her about this, and that was about a good 6 months ago. And because she's brilliant and I love her, I mean, it's been forever, I felt like she grabbed onto this. And then about a week, 2 weeks back, we talked about it. And she says, it just doesn't work for me. And I was so shocked because it's the most positive. She's just, if I give you more, you may know who she is. I mean, someone may, and I don't want that. And I was kind of taken back because it was the tone of her voice in telling me that I realized old tapes in her mind that said she wasn't good enough to get the job of her dreams. Now, we're not talking somebody who's 30 years old, 40 years old, even 50 years old. She's in her 50s, but she's not somebody, she has climbed that ladder. She has paid her dues and she's been successful. The family dynamics that caused her to have to leave the job, which she was ready, okay, because they say if you want success, you shouldn't be in a job more than 2 years anyway. So she thought the timing was okay. And when you go to higher levels in management, it's sometimes okay to leave and start over because you've had the title. And I noticed in her voice, and I talked to her about it, and there was almost a place where I couldn't address what was really going on with her. So I've been sitting on it and thinking about it. But there are some people, when you talk to them once, this is a good idea how to do this, and it doesn't work, then that tape can be played over. It didn't work once. Don't tell me how to do it again, because the same end result will happen. I wonder how many of you have said that. How many of you have had relationships that went bad because you were expecting the worst? A cheater. What job have you gotten? Were able to receive a good promotion or a job when you went in and the first person that you had to deal with was someone who had the same personality of someone in the last job that got you fired or got you laid off or made it absolutely miserable? What set that up and where you're going down that road again? I brought those two items up because it seems to be that's what people talk to me about. And it's not like I'm going to create negative, but then I want you to realize that in life is a teeter-totter. We're going to have experiences. This is the reason we're here. And how you deal with that experience is the growth that you attain in this life so you don't have to do it again. And if you play the same storyline in your mind over and over, or even in a good job, you'll turn it sour and you want to turn away because it's not good enough because you've been on this storyline before. That is a problem. How do you get that change? And how many times have I talked to people, and I'm the same way. It's amazing I can't read me. And I told this to somebody. I says, another psychic friend, I said, I can't believe I can't pick me up. And it's almost like the gods said, we're going to give you a gift, but you can't do yourself. Well, shucks. If I known that decision would have been that bad, I wouldn't have made it. And my psychic friend said, what do you think this is about? I'd rather you make a decision at all, even if it's a wrong one, because only through failure can you grow. Isn't that time just right? Dang, this is Bud over here, and he's just Yeah, it's Bud, the soft one. And I love it. I don't want to put my arm out. I just don't want him to jump up and be between me and the camera. So when you look at life and you realize, okay, I'm living this life. Nancy talks about the afterlife. She doesn't appear to be someone who would lie. There's no game for her. She doesn't run a cult. She doesn't live in $1 million home, nor run a big church. Boy, she's had a rough life. You know my story. Cancer, divorce, but really tough marriage. Then I had cancer. Then I went through divorce. And then it really got tough. You know, how you wonder if you're going to live it all. And then the universe heard me say, what am I going to do here? I want to prove that there's more to the world, this life, than the suffering I've been through. And so the universe brought me here. And through the discovery of life after, I realized, hey, I'm really working hard at this. I better have a better attitude. You got to lighten up a little bit, because without being able to realize that there's possibly more, I'm not getting off track, everybody. Notes are written down here. If you live life as though you're in a dark tunnel and you never can see the light in the tunnel, everything you encounter will be dark. And I had a tough childhood. My father was killed by a drunk driver when I was 6. Let me think about that for a minute. Life was hard. Okay, so who had money for college? I went to school because I got a job and could afford it. Got married, had a couple of kids. Tough marriage because we married too young. But he became a policeman. Oh, cat. So life is hard. I could have gone down a very bad road. Cancer, okay, made worse, right? And the reason I bring that up is everybody wants somebody to know your story. Why did I get into this? Bad things happen to good people. Flat out happens. How you deal with it is not your reward. The lesson of success in increments, so you anticipate the best is yet to be. Nah, I'm not preachy here. I am a minister, but I'm not preachy. This is just what it is. And a lot of people, I had an atheist come to me after he died, and I had him come in with this college student. And he said, would you tell everybody I was wrong? And I go, okay. I talked to Professor Gary Swartz. He's one of the leading authorities in mediumship. He's the one who interviewed and got the TV series called The Medium on TV with Patricia Arquette. Wonderful man. And he's now involved with the soul phone. And he double-blind tested me. It's on my website if you want to know what that is. And where I had no access to the client, I was sitting in the room, couldn't see him behind me. And he said, the client is ready. Just tell me who you see. I did good. Yeah. So one day after that, I told Professor Gary Swartz, I says, I had a visitor. Who was it? And I says, this atheist came to me and told me that he was wrong. And I told him who it was. And he says, oh my God. 2 other the main psychics in his world told him the same thing. How could we make it up? Can't. Once you have that, oh my gosh, is that possible? You know what happens to that hole at the end of the tunnel? It gets a little bigger. There's hope. So people like us, we can sell a lot of negative or we can sell a lot of hope. Guess where I'm at? So with that, because if you don't have that in your mind first, everything I say from this point on, you're going to go, my life sucks. I have bad luck, bad karma, bad patterns, bad family, bad job line, bad kids. I was bad, not a bad kid, but I had bad childhood. So with that in mind, realize that I walk a road like you, and some of the decisions I make aren't always the best. And I back up and I say, I wonder what I was supposed to do with that knowledge. A lot of times it backs into circles around for another episode of something similar in a different way to look at it. I had to take my husband to surgery downtown Sacramento. Scariest thing in the whole world. Last week, we had to make another trip into town to file some papers for this house. Guess where it was? Almost the same neighborhood. And so one experience, which was not very fun, led me to know the downtown Sacramento area so I could make a second trip. So when something negative happens to you, say, okay, I'll remember this area, the situation, because it probably will come around again. So this friend, I almost said her name, client friend forever and ever, I will work on her and try to bring to her the light at the end of the tunnel to be a little bigger. So don't fall asleep on me, everybody. My voice is somehow a little rough
Oh,
tonight.
we're good. We're good. We're good.
You're good?
We're
Okay.
good. We're good.
um, I want you to, not all of us had Christmases. My parents are very poor, and my father was killed at 6. So my very first gift was the last year he was alive. And I remember waking up in the morning, never knowing what a holiday was, what a Christmas was. And I was 6. And they gave us, they put a tree up, and they gave us, my sister is a year younger, gave us a doll. And how fun it is to recollect that image of running out there and not knowing what that was, but seeing a doll. I wasn't much of a doll person. It was the idea. My sister was a doll person. It was the greatest thing in the whole world to her, and she just read over and over and over. And I thought, you mean there's gifts that can be brought to us on a holiday? Like they probably called it Christmas, but I didn't know what it was. And I remember also the time, same year, and we did live at a different location earlier. It was Easter. And I remember waking up and mom coming in. This is little snippets. I don't have a lot of memories of childhood. And there was an Easter basket under my bed. Well, first I was terrified. Who was here to do that? And the second was there was treats in it. Not a lot. Doesn't matter. And I remember how excited I was with that. I want you to do the same thing. If you were lucky enough to have a lot of Christmases, just pick one where you got the most desired gift you had ever wanted. I want you to remember that moment and what your body felt like. Because I can remember both times looking at that doll with awe and excitement where my whole body grabbed it and went, I can't believe this. The Easter basket, opening it up, looking at it with disbelief, this was mine. It was mine. I don't remember what my sister got. I don't remember what my parents told me. I just remember this first time basket. Almost makes you cry. After he died, I don't remember Christmases for 4 or 5 more years. My mother remarried, and then I remember Christmas, and I think I was 11 or 12. My generation's different. You guys are lucky, if you have more, but there must be a gift or a prize that you got. And what I'm asking you to do, not necessarily the prize, but how your eyes, your hand, your body felt when they grabbed onto it. That's important. Just keep that. Okay, I'm going to roll down a little bit. Now I have to go the opposite, just so you can feel it. Great disappointment. How many of you broken up when you were in high school, that first boyfriend? Been there, done that. And I don't remember the reasons why we broke up. I remember, I think it was summertime, and everybody broke up at summertime. We didn't have cars in those years. And I think I was 15. And I remember going home and thinking, I'm not going to see that person again, like it was the end. And it was, because the next year was fresh and we started over. But I remember leaving that day. And if you can remember something similar, the feeling of empty, I want you to try to find an empty feeling, a blackness, a void, an ending. Yes, you could go to a divorce, but the trauma of that is so big. How do you collect one feeling? You could do that, because I've been through a divorce too. Some of them not necessarily empty, maybe cheering, but maybe you were the one that the paper was filed against. So you have to take something. And I had a car accident, and I remember thinking I couldn't drive that car anymore. It was my first one. I had the car a couple of weeks, and someone hit me. And I remember thinking, my first car, and it was gone. The level of what I'm looking for is avoid the feeling of never. a dropping of your energy, and you cannot have any more. Two complete different energy. Up, wow, wow, wow. Gone forever, dark. Totally different feelings. Identify with that. I wrote on here, unexpectedly broken up. A breakup as though you could not breathe again. That's really deep. I remember breaking up with this young man, and not breaking up at the end of the summer, because I don't remember breakup. It was just like it ended. And I remember thinking, is this what it's supposed to be? We just ended? Not ever see each other? Well, we didn't have cars. We were too young. In those years, you wait until you were 18 to get a car. We weren't getting cars at 16. A job interview. How anticipant are you? You have all the qualifications. You start going in for the interview, and you look at them, and they're disinterested. You had this high, you were beautiful, you had the right clothes on, the right suit on. You go in there and they have dead eyes. Like, oh, fudge. How am I going to convince them? You've went from a real big high to a low. Now, can you do that in reverse? Can you do it over? What if you go in for a job interview? Oh, this is not going to go good. I just have this negative feeling. I've been down this road. You sent them the resume like the first. You go in there and these people are really happy to see you. Boom. You're happy. Boom. Doesn't mean you get the job. It means that the energy was changed. I want you to learn to identify. I'm really ending up somewhere here. That we are in control of the energy. We sometimes have to receive it, but we can encapsulate it. And we can learn to identify it. For those who didn't feel like you're going to do a good job, you come in there and they're just bubbly. That instant high you got, capture that. What if you got a gift or an unexpected dinner out, or you were surprised? You got a call, you got a date, and they not only took you out, they took you to a good restaurant. That's how people meet. They go to a pub. Great. Love beer. Go there. The excitement of everybody having a good time. What does that feel like? What does your body feel like? Try to identify that. Now we're going to do something kind of strange here. I have pop-up windows all the time. I cut people go, and it goes right over the words. I brought this up once before, and when I did, then I talked to this client friend on the East Coast, and it made me realize this is a good example. How many of you have seen a really big spider web? I lived up there in Hornbrook outside of Wairika.
Lots of
And I'll
spiders.
tell you, yeah, beautiful. She was up Montague next door. It's towns all squished together, kind of, but country roads. It took 15 minutes back roads to get to Montague where she was. Anyway, we had the biggest spiders, shoot, and they would be overnight. I could go from the outside of the house to the breezeway to the office to the and there'd be spiders like this big, wrap. So that was where this idea come from. That sometimes a spider is so clever, going to build a big web. Yep, that baby's going to get caught. I'm hungry. And what that insect, and I'm sympathetic, I want everything to live, but everything has to eat, and it's nature's way. Flying at night, this little buggy, counting minutes, honey, you're about ready to meet your maker. Zap, right into the spider web. Now the spider is in the center, waiting. They don't usually wait on the outside. They wait in the middle. Why? Because if they wait in the middle, any direction to go is going to be the same. They're pretty clever. And the center of the wave of the spider web, and the beauty of the spider web has to be, I mean, if you've ever seen a rain or the morning dew on a spider web glistening with the sunshine, take your breath away. Not unless you walk into it like I used to. But I had noticed that when an insect, I won't say buggy, but I'll say a little something, flips on it, the whole web doesn't necessarily move. The insect does. And that spider web turns around and around and around saying, which way, which way, which way? And what happens is each layer, and I'll go like a spiral, is connected by one little bridge to each outer layer. And you could have 10, 15 round from the center. Spider, creative geometry, physics. I mean, this amazing creature makes most beautiful artwork. And what it is, circle after circle or rectangle, and they're bridged together. So when that spider on the outside, wiggle, 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 the spider in the center just is real calm after going around because he hears it. He's got to be careful. He kind of circles around until he can feel with his fingertip the linking of that dinner, that prize, to his foot on that web. That web moves ever so slightly at where he is, but he knows if he touches this bridge to the next row, that next row will tell him where to walk. And so, not making a straight line, the spider, I'm trying to put my hand out so you can see, the spider in the center looks like it's zigzagging all the way up to where that spider is, because he's created a visualization of what the prize is and the vibration that the insect's making. That insect doesn't know that the springy spider web will now vibrate in an excited manner, letting that spider know where dinner is. Poor thing. How many of you, I saw a lot of death and destruction up there with those spider webs. Big spiders, lots of meals. Yaw. But what that taught me was that we create a path to the end result we want. What if you're walking down into a tunnel and you know on the other side is a reward of a new car, a new job, a new partner, the diamond ring you want, anything that you desire to highest and greatest desire. You start walking this tunnel and you know there's going to be a price. Someone told you whatever you really want is going to be on the other side. Do you walk slowly or do you start running? What is your energy like? Do you start feeling perhaps you're excited because you've been told something's going to be there? Now, we're not talking Price is Right, and we have a lot of boxes, and you may not get what you want. You're guaranteed that if you focus on that and you get to the other end, you're going to get what you want. Let me think about that. At what point are you running? We're not walking anymore. You're running. And that dark, deep channel, all of a sudden the light gets really big because you've gotten there really fast. What if it's a mile long? You're still going to get there. It may take you longer, but you've created a visualization of a reward if you focus on that to the end. I hope I'm not losing anybody. Are you following me? Okay, right? I go in a lot of detail. I know it. I was an engineer. My readings are this way, so I want to make sure that we understand this. So there's a few ways to create this. I made you think of a positive, negative, and a desire kind of a thing. A Christmas or holiday, a disappointment. Let's go this way. I put another note down. You're walking in the country, and somehow you got there. It's beautiful. It may be spring or maybe autumn, but you're getting a little warm. You've been walking, and in front of you, you see some kind of decoration that's outlining something on the ground. It's a labyrinth. How many saw, what was that fella? The movie Labyrinth. Cheryl, who was that singer that had one eye blue, one eye brown? He died about 4 or 5 years ago.
Remember.
Anyway, the movie Labyrinth. Anyway, it was a young girl, and she didn't want to have her brother anymore. So the king of the goblins stole him. And the only way for her to get to him, she had to go through the labyrinth. And she cried, and she wanted her brother, and she wanted her brother, and she wanted her brother. She does make it, but she had to think of him so strongly to get the instinct to be able to get to where she's going. This labyrinth, you see, is only a few, not step over, maybe a foot tall. But in the center of that labyrinth is the biggest cold drink you've ever seen, and it's yours, and it's your favorite. Whether you like ice water, whether it's your favorite tea, a cold beer, you know,
David
how
Bowie.
many, pardon me?
David Bowie.
David Bowie. That's a good example of a good labyrinth.
Thank you,
So
Dr.
you're,
Google. Okay.
what's that?
Thank you, Dr. Google.
Thank you very much for taking the time to do that. So this labyrinth is there, and you really cannot jump over it, but you see that that is available for you. You look at that and you look around and you will pick the most direct path and the most excited. Now, if you don't care for the water, but you want to see what's in the center, you're just not taking very much time. You just, well, guess what? If you have a goal and you don't focus, guess how long it's going to take you to get there?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a goal and you want that water, you're going to pick the fastest direction. And it's not even a conscious. How many have intuition? We all do. How many use it? 40%, 50% of us unconsciously. Another way to develop your intuition is keep asking questions. Do I go to the grocery store today? Should I call my friend now or wait an hour? What should I put on today? Is it going to rain or not? Start doing the smallest little details so that when the time comes, your instincts will kick in. I'm sitting crooked here, everybody. Okay. So that the instincts will start kicking in. So when a time comes for you to focus, you can and get the hit that you need, that you're on track, because that will help you manifest, because your focus is absolute. The common thread of everything I talked about is vibration. Happy vibration, negative vibration. The wanting that glass of your favorite beverage is a vibration. Christmas, holidays, the dread of meeting family members who you really don't get along with them, meeting the family of your best friend, which is positive, or your boyfriend, and you don't want to meet them. All of this is negative. What do you emanate from yourself? When you have negative actions, you negative, it gets over everybody else. How about the workplace? I don't want to be here. I've worked too long. They don't like me. What vibration are you putting off? How lucky are you? How easy is it going to be for you to manifest something when you're only working with that vibration? Let's change that vibration to the word experience. I'm here to experience something. And the reason I'm alive is to have the experiences. Yes. How you deal with them is the experience you're supposed to take from it, is what you learn from it. Because when it's all said and done, you look at your life at the end and say, didn't deal with that very well. I wish I could go back. You dealt with something in a way, the experience you took as personal. Some of it is, some of it isn't. That could be another show. Okay, so how's you met? Some of you are driving, I understand that. Some of you listen to this in the middle of the night. Some of this, I know, as many of you are home alone, and I was COVID restricted up there for years. And in some days, I got pretty shut in. I didn't go negative, because what I did was I walked outdoors and I put my feet on the ground and felt the dirt. Whenever you're in a space that you feel like you don't know how to get out of it, change your visual. I've dealt with people really unhappy, a lot of illness, family death kind of thing. And I says, it's really hard for me to counsel you on that. And I've had to tell people, and carefully I say this because this has happened, people grieve so much for that relative that they're angry with them.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get angry, you have to identify that angry with selfishness. I do the victim survival. If those people suffered with illness and whatever, and that was long and drawn out and you were responsible, be grateful that they don't suffer anymore. Turn it around and also say, I'm so grateful I had the hours, days, weeks, and months with that person. So for the rest of my life, I did everything I could. If you were responsible, if you're visiting a friend, I have friends I've known for decades. I'm so grateful they're in my life, because every one of them is added to my life in this experience. When you have experiences that are negative, say, why am I feeling that way? Let's turn around. This is what life's about. Am I getting corny? I hope not. Am I getting where you've heard this 10 million times someone else? I hope not. What I'm trying to teach you is that if you want manifest a positive in your life to an end result you want, you better be sure that you know what life's about in the first place. It is the experience. Now you're manifesting an experience that will benefit your life. I want you to remember that, because for my higher and better self, I'm creating a desire that will enhance my life. Write that down. Hi, sweetie. Oh, this is the cat I'm talking to. For
It's
my
his,
higher and
it's his time of the year. He's a black
no,
cat. He can do
he
what he
is,
wants.
unfortunately, and they're completely indoors. Again, for I see the tail, you're going to be seeing everybody. This is the smaller of the two. Anyway, for my higher and better self, I'm desiring this outcome. And you make sure that you put it in that context. For my life. A higher, got it mixed up because of the cat here. You desire something for the end result of improving your life. Word it any way you want. And I will create this for this life's experience. Yes, everyone wants to win the lotto, but maybe it's not your experience in this life to win and make it easy. Maybe in your life this time, you've experienced being able to work hard for something. I've had thousands and thousands of clients. The happiest people, believe it or not, are the ones that work together, couples that work together for a common goal. The ones who have the money are not necessarily the happiest because they have it all. And I've kind of joked a little bit. I, I actually, this has happened many times. Of the people who have it too easy, they don't grow up knowing responsibility. They don't know what it feels like to be rejected. They don't know what it feels like not to get their way. So yes, I would love to try money for once, not to worry about it. But yet, even in my second marriage, it's been exciting to have a goal that you can work toward. This life experience, maybe, of course, I could still win the lotto. My husband could. Maybe the reward now is to feel what it feels like not to struggle. Who knows? Maybe that's your path too. So even though you struggle, if you have a partner that you share life with, companionship, hold hands when you go out to dinner or take a walk, drive in the country, you can tell what I do with my husband, is that reward of being sharing your life with somebody, that's what you ask when you want a relationship. Don't ask, I need a partner. That partner showing up may be the wrong one for you if you don't tell what you want. For the betterment of my life, I'm requesting a new partner. Write down what you're looking for. Now, the next thing is, I want you to write it on a piece of paper. I would like you to put a piece of paper in front of you and write on there, for my higher and better self, I would like to experience having a new car. I'd like to experience a partnership, a friendship with someone I can trust and love. I have some in my life that would like to go to Italy. For my life, this experience of revisiting a land that I lived before, I would like a way to earn the money so I can go. When we think of it in that way, it puts it in the front of our mind all the time. Every day, whatever you're wearing, if you have a pocket. A lot of women don't have pockets. I put it in your bra if I were you. You can always feel it. Every few minutes, every hour, whatever you can do, touch that pocket and feel the paper rustle. Remember what you wrote on it. When you do that, unconsciously, you're creating a way to be clever enough to create the outcome that you want. Yes, sweetie. I talk to them all the time. Do you kiss your cat? Yes, I do. Don't tell me I can't. Uh, what I'm saying is that we need to be more clever. You can sit at home and say, so this lady says to me, who Who's coming to my life? And I give her all this physical description. She went home for 8 months, never did anything. Comes back and said, well, you were lying. I never met anybody. And I said, did you believe what I said? Well, you're right on everything else. And I expected him just come to the door. Well, honey, how clever were you to be able to find him? Because he's the only one that would show up. So then she goes out, and guess what? She meets him. She would have met him sooner because she had a circle of friends that went to the same places over and over. In some ways, she couldn't believe it could be for her. So she created a failing which pushed out the opportunity. So my friend that wants to go to Italy, we will work more hours. We will line up our lives. We'll work a second job. And you say, well, that's no fun. I says, if you don't keep thinking about it, you won't create the outcome.
Mhm.
And if you don't put that on a piece of paper in your pocket, so you're always, oh, that piece of paper is on. I know it's on paper. I want to go to Italy. I want a new person in my life. I want my health back. You could put something like that. Because once we consciously think of it enough, unconsciously it becomes a loop. And once you say it time and time again, I kind of like the idea that in the women, I have an outfit on, I don't have any pockets. I have a bra. I can put it right in there. And that rustle for a man in his pocket where the keys would go. Oh, hit the keys, hit the paper. Oh, yes, I want to remember that. Then we are in the middle of a huge spider web. Our goal, our reward is at the furthermost circle all around our life. We could take the bottom and walk, drive, fly out to the outer edge, but south of our reward. Eventually, you could work your way to the center and start over. That reward is like Christmas morning. It has a vibration. And when you're excited about something, hit that pocket, hit that thing, and you hear it and feel it in the bra strap.
Mhm.
What that does is it makes you pay attention invisibly to an intuitive path which will take you to your outcome. You will start paying attention to the most little details you may not have heard before, but you may hear this time. Oh, did I just hear someone needs about 3-4 hours extra work and I'll make over $100? That could go toward my trip to Italy. You hear a friend at work said, I'm looking for someone that wants to go out to the pub tonight. You would never heard it before if you weren't looking for that part. Remember, keep your list. Don't meet just anybody. You want that perfect man. So your mind will say, no, no, no. If you don't pay attention to the invisible vibration of an outcome, you won't notice it because you're blind to it. It's all energy. Your reward has an energy of success. It vibrates down to you. All you have to do is keep thinking about it because you unconsciously will be directed toward it. I cannot tell you thousands of people that said to me, coincidental, by happenstance, I can't believe. Really? You didn't think you didn't manifest that? I have people around me that will sit at home and say, I wish there was ice cream truck in our neighborhood. Half hour later, the same thing comes around. Really? You didn't think you did that? You sent your vibe out to this ice cream guy and he just showed up? You need to look at your life and say, gee, I went to the grocery store and all of a sudden that woman that I haven't seen in 10 years, that old friend from college, was in the aisle next to me. And we just turned. Do you think that wasn't a manifestation? Come on. It was invisible because you sent the energy out to her. She sent it out to you. How about going to the grocery store? I remember this does happen to me. Go to this grocery store for a product. And there's 3 of us, 3 different ones in my neighborhood. And they don't have what you want, but you knew it. Right? Or when you go, I know I'm going to have choice. My husband likes the salads from Walmart. I like the Cobb salad. One day he says, I'm going to go get a salad. You want one? I go, nah. He comes back, he says, there wasn't any there. Another time he'll go and I go, oh, please, Cobb salad. And there was one there. You know why? Because I felt the vibration of success. I want you to think of it that way. It does happen. We do it unconsciously, but for the big reward, you have to create that spider to be able to find the path to the reward. And what I'm teaching you is the constant reminder will create that path for you. How did I do, everybody? I'm writing down some.
You're
Let's
doing
see.
good. In fact, we're going to show your ad for a second here and give you a little bit of. There you go. You want to book a reading with Nancy? She says,
Ah,
book a reading with me. So go to nancymatz.com.
I did want to have a. Oh, thank you there. I was surprised. I was not.
Music. We'll be really in tune to this now. Music and sparklies. How's that?
Well, I'm trying to make it simple so that people listening to it will understand what I'm saying. When you understand the process, like even people who are looking for a partner, you'll start noticing other people who are happy, and that reinforces a new direction for you. I've always had a Volkswagen, and when I got rid of Volkswagen and started looking for another one before I bought the yellow Volkswagen I have, everybody was driving Volkswagens. So it's the intent of what you want. You all of a sudden the world opens up for you to see more. And I'm not unrealistic. I know that on this wish list, people are putting down, I want a house to live in. This is the hardest time besides '08 I have ever seen. I can name to you 88, 93, 94. Of course, the other '08, and now we just left one. COVID caused it. I mean, there's so many hard times. You have to start little, but you could also put in, I would like to find a home. And then you have to decide how you home. So would you be willing to share a home? Open up the possibilities so that you can have what you want, only by being diverse and being clever. And that's not take away from manifestation, because you have to create an opportunity for you to find that place. Not only money can give you prize contestant second week and job, reason you open new opportunities because you are wanting that prize so bad. Remember the tunnel. And then get over the idea that you are not deserving. Yes, you are. If it's meant for you in this lifetime to experience that reward, you are going to get it. I think that's the best I can do for you kids. I hope everybody is hearing what I'm saying. And please, I invite you to listen to this a couple of times. If you miss this, I'm not patronizing anybody. This is possible. Do I do it for me? Unconsciously, I do. But I've had tough times like you, but I've had unexpected rewards, unbelievable opportunities. And it's always surprised me. But yet, looking back, I realize I co-created that success. And we have to believe in that. All right, Shar, how's that? Ooh,
Great. I
good.
apologize for the spammer. I got rid of the spammer once. It came back.
Oh, can't block them?
I did, and then it came back, and then it said there was an error blocking them, so I had to put them in timeout this time.
Really?
Same person.
I didn't know how. I don't know how that kind of works. Oh,
Yeah,
sure. And I feel really bad for people who are spammers, and the world is so hard that we need validation, we need attention, we need acceptance, and sometimes just can't get it unless you do something like that. It just
not
breaks
that kind
my
of.
heart. Huh?
Ooh, hot girls. Yeah, not that kind of attention.
No, I'm an old lady. I'm the wrong person. I don't want to say I'm so grateful to be my age. I have run over and tried to find that Blarney Stone. I've kissed that thing. Shar and I have talked, and I have friends who go, boy, that was a close call. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be an older person. I may joke about being older, but I'm actually amazed, and I'm so grateful, everybody. Because I know we survived, but that doesn't, look at this tail. Doesn't mean I don't want to live longer and teach people what I know. That's very, very important to me.
I have a story for you guys about this cat tail. This cat that used to live next door before I was into cats. I was never a cat person until I started raising them from kittens, and all that mess started. But anyway, as a ghost hunter, we went over to when I was filming my TV show. A friend of mine and I went over to Sacramento Theater Company to do some exterior shots.
Mm-hmm.
And the day we did the actual filming, I was out alone, and I have these video cameras that I have will pick up ghosts. They get blurry if there's a ghost in front of the camera
Mm-hmm.
every time. And I was just and I was out there alone that other particular day shooting, and when I would look up at the roof, it would go blurry of the building. So of course I run in and get the psychic, and she says, "Yeah." She says that there's a ghost up there, and I says, of course, okay. So I go back there with my friend, and we're alone, and my friend went around the corner to do some shooting on the side, and I'm thinking about this ghost, and I'm standing out in the driveway.
Oh no!
Shooting.
Oh.
Okay, if I see that thing, that's going to be the end of it. So we load everything up, come back to the house, and pull up in front of my house, and all of a sudden I see movement in front of the car, because I'm still thinking about this ghost, and I'm telling my friend about it. Like the thing could have followed us home for all the hell we know.
I see this one coming.
So to me, it was all scary, back then. And I see this thing go up in front of my hood, real fast, and I'm like, what in the hell is that? And I said, I think it followed us home. So here's two adults. We were in our 20s, and we start leaning into the windshield, in the car. We're leaning forward to see what this thing is. The damn cat jumped right up on the hood.
Oh, timing is everything.
And I just went, ah! And my friend looked at me and said, I need a new pair of shorts. So
we've all had that happen. Absolutely.
Every time I see a cat's tail like that, I think of that because it was so fast you couldn't tell what it was. The cat just whipped it up and down, right? I'll never forget that. Ever. My friend her total deadpan was so deadpan. It wasn't even a laugh. It was a total deadpan. When my friend goes,
was it black cat?
No, it was a lighter colored cat.
Oh, okay. That's still scary.
It was white, and it was a full fur cat too. It wasn't a. It was the cat with this, like you know what I mean. It had a lot of fur.
Mine has hair too. The thing about cats, I have two black ones, and it becomes an obstacle course here in the house sometimes. You run from the longer. I could be here and walk toward the other part of the house, and they go, "Oh, she's leaving. Let's run!" And they'll cut me off, and I'm thinking, you hear about people falling. They fall over the cats. Liza Minnelli fell over her dogs, and she has little round things. Ended up having hip or knee replacement because of these silly dogs. Love these animals. Dogs tripped her trying to get in front of her.
Marisa, I'm gonna lay out a thing with Marisa one day. Marisa was over watching TV, and I have a little rat terrier who has rash problems, so I have to put a cone of shame on his head all the time.
Cone of shame.
And the poor dog, when he walks, the head swings back and forth. You can't get around him. But he's 15 years old, so he is determined to do whatever he's going to do, no matter. So I go to step over him, and of course he went the wrong way, and he screams, and so Marisa looks at me and goes, "You hurt that dog," blah blah blah. And I said, "Well, you try to get around him." So about 20 minutes later, I see her get up, and all of a sudden I hear the dog screaming. I'm like, "See, Karma's a biatch, isn't it?" Because he didn't say anything to her.
I love it.
What's with him? And I'm like, it's not that easy to get around him.
Sometimes we should do a show just on pets. We were going to do a show on pet communication. We need to do that.
Yes, we need to do that.
Pet survival. And I mean, I probably lived in 3 houses in these years, 3 or 4. Cats, dogs. There was one house we lived in, and Larry was sitting, and he had the big man furniture with the leather and the buttons, and he was sitting there, and all of a sudden, bump, 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 bump. He thought it was a cat. Ended up being the poodle, the people before, small poodle. Bump, 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 bump. And he says, "Gee, I wish they just take that spirit dog away." Evidently, he had his couch at the exact same place, but that shifting in the corner of your eye, that shadow. Well, when the house is darker like now, and these black cats dart in front of you, go, okay, what was that? And it's usually your pet. But pets, go ahead.
When I was taking care of the Farrells, there were always a couple that were always really friendly with me, always. And to the point where I had one that would actually roll over and let me rub its stomach. Oh. And I had this particular black one that started it all, really. Mm-hmm. And it actually got poisoned. But it came home. I found the body. I buried it. But the funny thing was, I'm sitting out there one night, in my little aloha thing, jamming in my tune, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this black cat come out from behind the bush, and I'm
Oh
like,
no.
"Oh my God, it's you, isn't it?"
Was
It
it?
appeared right in front of me.
Was it the same cat, but a
She
spirit
came
cat?
back. Yeah, she's dead, but she came back. I'm talking about a feral cat. You know what I mean? A cat that just.
Hmm.
So I mean, they do. Your animals do come back. Even here,
Yeah.
I've seen several of my dogs here. And I know the cat comes in every once
You
in a while.
really have a haunted house. You have a lot of animals, and
I
you and I
have
talked about, and you called me up, and she says, "Who's here now?"
yeah,
I go, "Well,
people
you got a half a dozen people there.
yeah,
Who
I've
do we
got
talk
people
about?"
animals, and stuff. So probably why I'm so tired all the time too, because the energy level is just crazy here.
Right? Well, that's not negative. It's just like the
No,
earpieces
it's
keep
just like hanging out
wiggling
with me.
here, everybody. Yeah, they just family,
Yeah, it's
and
just family around me all the time.
I've gotten to a place where unless I'm talking to a client or like now, I'm kind of oblivious to spirit people because I really feel like they can take your energy. And I
Hmm.
just soon not always think about them. As my
Hmm.
husband told me once, they're going to line up waiting. My friends
Yeah.
have told me this. Oh, my relative is going to call you in 2 days. I've just come early. Really? They'll show up days ahead of time. But I'm very grateful to be able to do this. It
Before
is scary
investigations, when I
times.
first started doing this, and in my well, I talk about that in my semi-weekly blog, quickie vloggy thing I do. But
Hmm.
after I grew out of it, like people do, and I started to get back into ghost hunting, I was having experiences before I would go on investigations. The people who I was supposed to be investigating showed up.
Right?
At my job. I mean, I would turn around and there'd be some old lady in a babushka standing in my bathroom every time. So I
Okay,
mean,
so she's thinking about location. She's already put her mind to it. I call it put my mind to somebody. Like when we were doing the readings, I put my mind to the
yeah,
person written and who wrote a note. So she puts her mind to the location, and the spirit person goes, "Who's here? I wonder who
yeah.
it is." And all they do is follow that thread of your life force to you, and the place shows up with people.
Well, yeah,
I
I go to
love
lunch
this. I love this.
and sure enough, I'm sitting there eating, and this Asian man comes out of one wall, walks across, stares at me, and goes through the other wall. As we were going to like French camp or someplace up in the hills. So yeah, I went through that for a while where I would see them before the investigations, and then it started gradually to
I
come back to
think
the
that
house.
happened to me too. Before we even start, I started seeing people the minute I turned the switch on. So you must
Mhm.
have put the switch on before we're going to do investigation. The
Yeah,
switch goes on.
and I've
We
seen the
prime
hangman,
ourselves
and I've
as
seen the
I've,
hangman 2 or 3 times in Placerville. Yeah, I've seen him
mm,
walking. He goes up and down the street just like they say. There he is. And all that. But I
and
mean, it's active.
yeah, and I want to go back to that statement. People
Yeah.
say to me, are you always on? And they call me up, they have one question. It's like they don't realize how much energy this takes to do this. And that when we set an appointment up, that's when we say, this is when I'm turning that switch on. To keep it on all the time as though we're always available is tough. And when we get ready for investigation, or I'm doing a radio show where I'm going to be remote, when I sit down, that switch goes on and I'm primed. Only you go, oh my gosh, I'm doing this every day. You have to learn to trust. You learn to turn the switch on and off by saying, I wonder if now's a good time to go to stores. What should I wear? Who's going to call me? Who am I thinking about? And the
Hmm.
minute something happens, you go to a place of thinking, I wonder what I was feeling like. You do it every day enough times. When you get positive results, you go, let me think. I know what that felt like. So you keep it up. And eventually that switch turn on, turn off is the magic of what we
Hmm.
do.
Hmm.
A lot of us do it. A lot of us do it without realizing that we do. Someone says, well,
Yeah.
how do I do it? And I have to sit and really think about it.
Yeah.
And once we get it down where I tell you how to get to that switch, what it feels like is very, very important. Magic
Hmm.
happens. The whole world is different because it looks different. It feels different. You're more aware, wondering what else is here that maybe I'm not seeing.
Hmm.
And I do believe in elementals.
Hmm.
There was a picture right on, I think it was Coast to Coast. I read a lot of newsletters during the day, and the world opens up because I don't want to sound corny, everybody. We're not alone. And it's so vast and big out there. You think we're just pieces of meat walking around a planet. We just die and go to dust. Ain't so. No more. I didn't believe this way. Only through proof. And why would I lie? What gain do I have? And this is free radio. I'm teaching everything I know, everybody.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, Halloween is going to be a week from Monday.
Yay.
So, next Friday, being what it is, and I see Sarah, I see your question in there. No, we did not do readings this week. However, I think since we were talking about pets and things like that, we should talk about that next Friday. And because it is the Friday before Halloween, we can do some readings.
Oh, sure. Why not?
Yeah. So Sarah,
I'm good.
So Sarah, come back next week. That'll be our Halloween gift to you guys. Okay? But
Sounds
it's going to
good.
be, as usual, one question. No more than one, because we've got a bunch of you guys to get through. But yeah.
And it's tough to think of one question. But if you say, what direction of life should I take? How would I answer that? What do you see as my next job? Well, are you a fast order cook, or are you a CEO of an empire? I mean, you have to make it easier than that.
Your uncle, whatever, but just keep it narrowed down so we can stay focused on it.
Yeah.
But we'll do that. The other thing I want to talk to you guys about is something I talked about before. I'm going to be reading on Sunday the Salem Witch Trial book. Yeah, come back. Yeah, next week, Sarah. The Salem Witch Trial book we're going to start on Sunday, and like I said, we're going to read that up until around Thanksgiving, and then we're going to shift to the nasty Christmas, the dark Christmas stories that I have lined up, and then we'll probably go back to that. Monday's guest. Yeah.
Is there such a thing as Thanksgiving horror stories?
Yes. So we're going to do next. Yeah, holiday horror stories. That's what we're going to do.
Holiday, okay.
Holiday horror stories. So yeah, so we're going to read, I guess, the first 2, maybe 3 weeks of November out of this witchcraft book, and then if we're not done, we're going to stop, at a certain chapter, and then we will continue after the holidays, because we're going to switch to holiday book. Then we'll go to Anna Maria's new book, the Unholy Trinity, or whatever the thing's called. We're going to go to that one. I got permission for that one already. Monday, I will not be here. It's another night that I have sponsors that I'm dealing with and get some time off, and clear my head. Ben Westhoff is going to be here. Well, it's a pre-tape show. I just taped the show the other day. And what we're going to be talking about is fentanyl.
Ooh.
Ben Westhoff is a reporter who went undercover in the fentanyl dens in China.
Oh, wow.
And he got all this information on how it's produced and how it's brought over here, and it's coming across the borders, and he's got all this information about that. Go ahead.
My heart just sinks hearing that. Just today on the news, my husband said that a 2-year-old boy, I guess he's in the hospital, I don't know if he passed away, got hold of fentanyl. It had been coated in color on a marshmallow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine the body of a 2-year-old versus that of an adult? How much was ingested?
Well, they've also got stuff, if you're watching the news and it comes across sometimes, they've made that stuff look like sweet tarts.
Absolutely. Of course, but this is the first time I'd heard of it as a
oh my God, that's terrible.
Colored marshmallow.
That's horrible. Now,
I can't even appreciate.
Not only is this story significant like this, it's also significant for people like me, even though I don't do illegal things. But the DEA, he and I talked about this too, with the DEA's crackdown on opioid prescriptions for people.
Okay? Yes, we talked about
the deaths have gone up from fentanyl. And it's not, and if you look at the again, we're here for entertainment. Don't ace me out, okay? If you look at the stats, the people that are taking prescription opioids aren't the ones that are overdosing. Mm-hmm. It's the people that are buying the stuff on the street. And what's happening is unfortunately, and there's changes being made because there have been some articles in Time Magazine, articles in different different opinion pieces in the magazines saying that the DEA kind of overstepped because they put too much of an umbrella over everybody. In that they should have focused in other areas instead of doing it over everybody, and then people not getting their proper pain meds. So essentially,
Oh, yes,
yeah,
that association. Hmm.
yeah, yeah. And the problem
Hmm.
is that there's people with prescriptions that like myself. To give you an idea, if I don't have my opioid, I cannot even mop my floors because I have two vertebrae on top of each other, and that angle that I have to lean over to use a mop is just right to move those vertebrae against each other. So it'll take me 3 hours to mop my floors.
Hmm.
Without that, it's for quality of life. And so it's
Oh,
people
so
like me
sorry.
that have been denied, that are getting denied. So what they're having to do now, because they're desperate to get this stuff, they're going out on the street and buying it on the street. The problem is it's cheaper to mix the stuff with fentanyl. So what they're getting is fentanyl-laced drugs, and that's where the overdoses are coming from. So anyway, that's why it's all involved with me. This thing on Monday means a lot to me to have talked to this gentleman, because it's something that unfortunately the government is doing its best to regulate, but they've overstepped, and you're going to start seeing a lot of stuff. I know Coast to Coast either had a show or is having a show that within the last couple weeks where they talk about there needs to be changes at the government level now for people like me that
Yeah.
really need access. Cancer patients are being denied. People go to hospitals to have breast removed, and they're sending them home with Tylenol.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that going on because everybody is afraid to give out opioids. So anyway, it's a horrible situation, and the fentanyl situation is the new drug of choice because it's cheap, and so they're mixing this stuff up, and it's cheap to produce. It's kind of like crank used to be in the old days, where it's cheap to produce, and so they're
I
mixing it
wouldn't
in
know
with.
that.
They're, I was a,
How do you know that, Char?
I was a crime court reporter for 5 years.
Oh, okay. That's good. Let's get that out there. People know your
Don't like putting things
experiences.
on my nose, so that was a no right away. But yeah. So I mean, this is cheap to produce, and they're able to put it in a powder, so they can sprinkle it on stuff. Like yeah, you talk about the marshmallow. They can sprinkle it on stuff. They can mix it up, put it in a form, do all kinds of stuff with it. So it's interesting to talk to this gentleman about what he experienced because he actually went undercover in China
Mm,
at a factory that produces this
man,
stuff. So that'll be
story.
Monday's show. Yeah, Monday's show at six
I
thirty.
look forward to that.
Yeah, that we're gonna be talking about that. But like I said, again, we're for entertainment only. And the reason why we're doing that is I'm gonna be honest about that. One of our videos got pulled. You guys can believe that. YouTube pulled one of our videos. So I'm trying to keep it above water on this because it was
You
supposed
have
to
to
be.
explain that this show is
Mm-hmm.
on all types of other stations talking
Yeah,
to the same
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Why was hers pulled?
yeah. We got singled out
Yeah,
for this
it makes
video.
no
So
sense.
yeah, it makes no sense. But okay, if that's what YouTube wants. So that's why now from here on in you're going to see a disclaimer. Probably I'm going to add it to the ticker on the bottom that we're here for entertainment purposes only.
I think you ought to say it loud so that
Yeah,
people
like I did
listening,
at the beginning.
and,
Yeah.
and I guess the same with me. It's unfortunate because of my being a minister, legitimate. I
Mhm.
became a minister in February of '92. Unbelievable. Did the old-fashioned way, but in some ways it was um, people don't know me. I have
Mhm.
that kind of background, but that's a form of protection, and we should say entertainment only.
Yeah.
Everybody that's on here should
Yeah.
say something to protect themselves.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
Hmm.
just like it scares me
Who
to have
knew?
this gentleman on Monday because I'm afraid of going to the doctor now next week. Who knows? Maybe they'll see this and say, "Oh, you said this bad thing. The DEA's mad at you and all this, and you can't get your meds." So it kind of scares me to
Oh,
even
no, no, no!
do that.
Don't
But I
don't
hope
put
not.
that energy out there. There you are with that.
But that's why I want to just say it's for entertainment only. And we're trying to get the information out about what's actually going on. So hopefully you'll find that guy just as interesting as I did because it was a fascinating conversation with him to talk with him about that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and then we're going back to ghosties on Tuesday.
My favorite topic, almost spirits and ghosts. I can't just say that, but this is the time of year when you can really enjoy the stories and talk about it.
And I'll give you guys a teaser. This gentleman that I'm interviewing tomorrow at 9 a.m., which is going to be a pre-recorded interview, which probably won't, because we're already booked up to the second week of November.
Mm-hmm.
So he probably won't get in until mid-November. But this gentleman I'm going to be interviewing tomorrow, this book that he wrote on UFO abductions, oh my God.
Nancy, you got to read this book. You got to read this
I've
book.
never heard any of this stuff before, and there is some spooky stuff in this that supposedly goes on when people are abducted by aliens. So it is going to be interesting, very interesting. So, but that probably, like I said, won't be on until the third week of November because I'm book solid, which is nice.
Gives you time to read book, and maybe me too.
Yeah.
I always appreciate that over the 32 years I've gotten a lot of books, and those of you who sent me books I haven't read it, be gracious. Eventually I get to everything. And it's been a lot of fun tonight. I enjoyed this. I hope I didn't talk too slow or I hope you were able to follow what I was trying to teach you people.
Yeah.
That we can have what we want if it's meant to be.
The thing is, you can't let those negative thoughts in. That's the key. The minute they seep in, it's going to pull you back down.
We all have negative thoughts. We have to put it in the right contents.
Right.
Oh, this happened. Okay, turn it around and say the benefit of this was. And I tell people this: cancer, when I had it in 1987, was a death sentence, and I had 3+. I can't remember what he said, A, B, C, D, or whatever. And it was given death sentence, and life ended, but it didn't. God didn't want me. So I've been lucky. But I look back and realize it changed my whole life.
Yeah.
I left my husband 6 months later. German, Italian, Catholic, police marriage. Ouch. And got into this to find out the reason why bad things happen to good people, or what the meaning of life is, really. The meaning of life. What a path. I left a career to do this full time. Just everything changed. Best thing ever happened to me.
When they say that everything happens for a reason, it does. And sometimes
try not. Yeah.
At the moment it happens, it doesn't seem like it's a good enough reason. But everything happened for a reason, and it's a hard thing.
It's really hard because people write me notes and letters. Yeah. Well, I was in Pharaoh's ice cream parlor minutes before it got hit by an airplane.
Yeah.
And when I wrote many articles, and one of them was of a young man who came to visit me who had been there also. He had picked up his son. He was running late. He got there, and he was one of the people helping the pilot. And I was talking to him in contents that I said, I was watching and I knew I had to leave, but I didn't know why. And she wrote me a note and she says, my twin died. How dare you not tell the rest of us? At what point would I know what was it going to be? My psychic, my intuition, the universe, the divine, the diva who runs all this says, we can't have her yet.
No.
She can't join us. Get out of there. Huh?
I mean, you're sitting in a restaurant and suddenly you get this feeling that you need to get out.
Have to leave.
And you don't know why. But you know you have to leave. How are you going to tell everybody, well, I have to leave. Bye. If you want to go, come with me. You can't do that without.
I have this little vibe. I have a 3-year-old with me. I'm pregnant. I have this vibe. I can't be in here. And they're going to look at me like, you're a silly woman, girl. I was just a girl.
So there's no way Nancy would have known. I mean, none of us would have known.
No.
We had that vibe.
Yeah, I was 23 years old.
Yeah.
And she wrote, and she had, my God, it was 20 years later. And she was so angry. It was 73 when this happened. And across from the old Sacramento airport. And this not biplane, it was a single engine. And it was one really old, I don't know, 30s or 40s. And it skidded on the runway and went across the street right into Pharaoh's ice cream parlor, killed 22 people, most of them children. And I was in there, and the memories seared into me of the party on the wooden benches. And so many of those kids got killed and injured, maimed for life. And here I am, 23, with a kid in my arms, pregnant. There's no way I would know to say to those kids, especially the twins sitting together, by the way, you have to leave. One of you's going to die.
Hang on a second. I got to check something here.
I'll talk. Eileen Garrett was a newspaper lady. And when I got into this, I'll mention this to you. When you have trouble wanting to do this for a living, find somebody you identify with, read a lot of books. And Edgar Casey was one of my first reads. later on when I started accepting survival and seeing stories of reincarnation. Dr. Brian Weiss, Weiss. There's so many books out there where I read Eileen Garrett. She was very, very gifted. And she felt like I had a mind like very brilliant. She had a company, newspaper company. She had pretty big responsibility. But I'm a very linear thinker. To do this, right side of me is linear. The other side is this artistic, creative side of me. It's like, how does this work, right? And I thought if she could do it, I can do it. So you have to put in your mind, your focus of what you want and make it happen, which I did. So what's going on with you, Shar? What's happening there?
Did anybody else in Sacramento feel that?
Did we have another earthquake?
I felt vibration to my left twice here, sitting here just a few minutes ago.
Okay, 8:05.
Something like that around in between 8 o'clock and 8:05, yeah.
Wow, and nothing here. Nothing's even moving.
I'll have to double check. I'm not getting anything yet, but they may not have reported it yet. It may not be big enough really to report.
Out of Chico,
But there was
live earthquake coverage. I think it's, maybe he even calls it that. He's out of Chico, earthquake monitoring, Chico's channel, station. Let's Google it and see if maybe he picked up something. Somebody get on.
I felt the vibration twice on my left arm. So unless there's somebody here bothering me, which would happen too.
Very possible.
It's possible, but that was weird because it went twice, and I thought, well, maybe somebody texted me on my phone, and that didn't happen. So who knows?
All right.
Anyway,
guys, everybody.
I'm wrapping it up tonight because I get to go back and read some more book. I still have to finish reading this gentleman's book. So
reading is wonderful.
All evening until 2 or 3 in the morning, so I can crash for a few hours before I have to do this interview with this gentleman.
Poor thing, reading something exciting like this with your. Oh my, come on. I don't have any pity for you.
And I just got 2 more books in the mail.
Oh man, love it.
I will be reading for eternity the way it's going at this point, but they're all really good books and good people, so I'm excited. And we have a lot of guests coming up that are upcoming that are really good guests. You guys are going to be really excited over it. Keep that flow going, as they say. You know? But I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. Our Friday Nights with Nancy.
Yep.
And just to again let you know, we will be reading Sunday 6:30. Excuse me, I have a rash going on. I fell in love with this naan bread. That 8 a.m. bread that was garlic. It had garlic flavor. What's
it called?
Naan. The naan bread. Yeah. And I fell in love with it. I was eating it as snacks like for the last few nights. And I got a rash, so I'm thinking there's something in it that allergies. So if I start to do this, that's why.
And it's called naan bread.
And yeah, and it's garlic flavored naan. It was excellent.
Well, send me a text. I'm always interested in naan bread.
I have it because I'm itching because that's something I can think of that I did differently. So anyway, I know it's TMI, guys. I'm just starting to itch just to let you know. So anyway, like I'm going to be reading tonight. I did 2. The day I interviewed the White Witch, I had done 2 other shows that day. Pre-recorded. I've been real busy with this stuff because a lot of people we're getting are over in England and Europe. So I have to like change the hours and everything. Like tomorrow, I have a 9 a.m. interview, and then my dog has to go get her claws done at noon. So I had to move all this around to juggle. So we're gonna see because I'm on all the time. I'm 6 days, so I kind of like having nights off every once in a while. So that's why these pre-recordings are nice. I can take a night off from the show, even though I love all you guys immensely. And if Mary Muter is watching this, because I don't know if she saw my thank you over on TikTok. Oh my God, your chocolate was to die for. And I say the word was because you gave me 2 boxes full like this of chunky chocolate. And it's gone now, okay? I ate it.
2 boxes?
2 like this, yeah. And then it was chunky. I mean, it was thick like that. I mean, all homemade chocolate. And
talk about the prize, right?
Oh my God, yes. And she also gave me, and I did this on TikTok, and she also gave me a bag of like, brown chocolate like for hot cocoa.
Ooh.
And not only that, I got a little thing of
Well, give her a better plug right now. What is her company called?
She's just Mary Muter.
Chocolate?
No, just Mary Muter.
She doesn't produce a chocolate as a product for a company?
I think there's something on there. I don't have. Is the product on the bottom here? No. See, if the product's there, it's in the other room. I'll have to do it tonight. That's just how I operate.
So how do you spell her last name? Mary?
Marin, MARENMUTER. She's a regular guest on here. She comes on every few months.
All right, Google her, everybody. She's getting a big plug here.
In Rhode Island, and she makes chocolates in her kitchen. She sent me that. She sent me vanilla beans to put into the hot cocoa for this mix. And I can not only make hot cocoa, I can make like fudge with it and all kinds of stuff with this mix, which is really cool. Make chocolate mousse with it. But she also sent me chilies, ground up chili peppers, which is dragon stuff. She calls it dragon breath or something like that. And you're supposed to put it in your chocolate to give it a little more zing.
Yeah, just never heard of that.
I haven't tried
chili flavored chocolate.
Yeah, I've never tried that yet. So, but anyway, so I still have a big bag of that other stuff she gave me. But I'm telling you, this chocolate is to die for. This is like European chocolate. Good stuff. Good stuff. So if she sees this, thank you, Marin. I appreciate it. That was great. I like gifts. You guys want to send me gifts? I'm good. I like gifts. Gifts are good.
Well, they'll have to have your address. They'll have to email you for a request of the address. Don't give it on the air.
A lot of the TikTokers get P.O. boxes for that reason. They have their own P.O. box with the gift stuff. But yeah, so that was a great gift. I really appreciate it. But anyway, if you like the show, share it with 5 people. If you hate the show, share it with 5 of your enemies. I'm good. I don't care. I'll just block the people that are haters. I'm good. I just want to get the word out about this show. If you're listening from Facebook, hit that like button and hit that follow button because we want to build this thing up. We're building it up. To give you an idea, over at YouTube, I have to monetize, I have made my stuff I had to make, except we don't have enough subscribers. That's the only thing I'm waiting on, is subscribers. I got enough watch hours. I got everything I need. So we're looking to build up our subscribers. So if you're watching from YouTube, be sure to slam on that little ghost, okay? That little ghost. I don't like that big red ugly thing that says subscribe. That's why we have a little ghost. You hit the little ghost and the red button will show up to subscribe. Okay, so subscribe. So that's what we're looking at for subscribers. And share us around. Tell people about us. The more people you tell, the more people are going to listen. And then they'll listen and tell their friends and the snowball effect and all that stuff. All right? Anyway, I'm done for the night. Nancy's done for the night. I'm going to show you Nancy's info.
It was fun, everybody.
And we are out of here. So here's Nancy's info. Let's see. Wrong. Okay, there's the right button. Hey, did you notice the other night during the show I hit Nancy's button by accident? I was going to show the guy's book and Nancy's ad came up. Whoops. Right in the middle of that guy's show the other night.
Then was meant to be for some in the audience.
That's it. Okay, websites. NancyMatz.com, all lowercase. NancyMatzAuthor.com. The N, the M, and the A is capped. YouTube.com, Nancy Matz Psychic. And then we've got the books. Help Get Me Out of This Funk.
Are you okay?
2 Worlds, Developing Your Psychic Skills. In my squeaky chair. And we've got The Unwilling Sacrifice. And, of course, Amazon.com. And all the other little bookstores, too. Just not there. Okay, and again, once I sign off, I may not be answering phone calls or text messages or anything for a while, because I've still got 189 pages to read tonight. So that's wrong with me. So don't think I'm ignoring you and stuff if I don't answer the phone. I will be busy.
I love it. I love it for you.
Even my dogs look at me like, what, is she at that again? God, I'm going to break that thing, So yeah, so I got to read this book and get it done for this gentleman so I can talk with him tomorrow. All right, guys, I will see you on Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, and we will be reading about witches. Have a good evening.